I would recommend this firm 10 times out of 10 without question. It's just been such a nice experience. The guys have been respectful, they're smart, they've persevered, they've gotten things done for us that I don't think that other firms may have been able to accomplish. My name is Megan Holmes, and we are here at the Needlepoint Clubhouse, which I've owned now for about 8 years. We needed office space, retail space, and warehousing space. When Jay came in, I was able to tell him sort of my use case, what we were trying to do, and he was able to say, okay, this is how this can everything can sort of lay out. It's also an old building, and the bones were good, but a lot of the infrastructure was questionable as far as the sewer lines and was there asbestos in the place and all of the things. Jay very expertly helped guide me through a lot of those things, and the testing and the chemical testing and all of the things that I had no experience with. And not only was he able to assess the space, but he was able to very comfortably explain the process to me, and it was never condescending. It was just always a very warm, friendly conversation about how we were gonna go about making this place better and make it the way I needed it to be. When we were introduced to this property by our commercial real estate broker, it was actually a canine center. And so it had been a retail operation for pet supplies. It was a boarding facility and also a grooming facility. So if you can imagine, it was dirty, it was a little rough. Feasibly, we just couldn't understand sort of whether it was possible to brighten it up, to lighten it up, to freshen it up, and whether or not it was even a good idea to renovate the property. We went from a 2,800 square foot building to a 6,800 square foot building. So the intention was to grow the retail space, but it was also to have comfortable office space and storage for us to use. We were able to accommodate all the 3 different business lines in all of these spaces. Really, it had to do a lot with the design. So talking to Jay and working with, he engaged with an architect that he had worked with for quite a long time, who expertly helped us see the space, understand the space, and then begin to kind of figure out how we would fill it. Jay has this amazing ability to gather professionals. He collects these people that are so cool and that are so smart and do their jobs so well, and all in unison, and they're respectful of each other, and they let each other do their jobs. Every single person who was part of this process never made me feel like I didn't know what I was talking about, even though I absolutely did not. I've never been part of a construction project. I didn't know about all of the permitting and the easements and all the things, and every single person that was part of the project was respectful and smart, and I think Jay just has this real ability to gather people who are really good at their jobs and all work really well together. When we started this project, we knew that we were on a tight timeline. So I bought the building the beginning of September, and my lease, my former space, was up at the end of March. And Jay knew that, and he knew that I didn't want to extend my lease, but he said, wow, this is gonna be tight. And I know that this is probably a very common thing in construction, but I have never had the experience of being part of a construction project. But this visual timeline that they create, it was really cool to see all of the lines on the graph where things were going to be finished. And I mean, we were right up to the end. They stuck to it, and we had a weekly meeting every Thursday. We met, and we would talk about where we were with the project, and I kept saying, are you sure we're gonna be, yeah, we got this. They did a great job of keeping up and keeping on deadline. I'm telling you, having a person who is so experienced and is so tuned in to the entire process is so important. Our architect and Jay taught me the word future-proofing. And so that was like one of our first meetings. As we went along, I was always thinking about how do we make sure that we're planning for future use or future expansion, future growth. So when it came to decisions related to finishes. I don't know, deciding on what type of windows, what type of doors. I was always saying, well, is this a good quality? I don't want to go for the lowest quality. And I think what Jay was really good at was helping me make decisions that were sound, but that were smart. And so he would say things like, if it were my building, I would choose this, and it wasn't always the highest end. It wasn't always the lowest end. Sometimes it's right in the middle. But the other thing I realized about Jay throughout this process is that he is really smart about figuring out how to cut costs but have high quality. Another example along the way was that we determined that we wanted to use the same flooring throughout because simplicity, but also continuity. And we'd chosen flooring that we loved. We were ready for flooring to go in, and the flooring was stuck on a barge somewhere in, I don't even know where, on the water. Outside of a port. It wasn't even in the port yet. And we're ready for it. And so Jay said, I'm gonna call a distributor that I know. And so he was able to take the flooring that we chose, the color and the match and the style and the type, I guess, and go to a different distributor. And he negotiated an equal price for flooring that I think was probably a little more expensive, but he knew that I had it in my budget for the flooring that we had chosen. It wasn't anyone's fault that it was stuck in port or on the water. He was respectful of my budget. He was able, with his experience, to negotiate with the flooring distributor. And I think it was in Chicago somewhere. And so I think a few days later, flooring was here. I think I got really lucky to find him. Jay is really top-notch.